Success, where we talk about people, places, and projects that fire us up. I'm your host, Suzi Becker, and I'm here with Larry Adkins of ACBS Insurance. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Suzi, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being on. You talk, work, and help some of my most favorite customers, the over 65 clientele, or what we call active adults.
Yes.
So there's two ways that you help. The first way is with the insurance needs. Your company provides health insurance in the Medicare space. Can you talk to me a little bit about enrollment in Medicare?
Yeah, there's a few different times that enrollment comes into play. The first time is your initial period. And what that means is 3 months before you turn 65 and 3 months after, you have to enroll in Medicare Part A and Part B. Failure to do so can be penalizing for you monetarily. So that's the first enrollment period that most people think about, is the initial enrollment. Then throughout the year, there are a couple of other enrollments. The first enrollment is called the annual enrollment period. It starts October 1st and goes through December 7th. That's a one time a year annual enrollment that if you had a change in your health condition, or if your doctor is leaving or left the network, or if the hospital that you're currently going to isn't covered in your plan, that's the one time a year that you can make a change. Then, once you've made that change, if you get to the new plan starting January 1 of the next year till March 15th, if you got to the new plan and unfortunately the coverage had a gap somewhere, like a doctor went out of network, or a hospital was no longer covered, or a medicine went from tier 1 to tier 3.
Gotcha.
That's your one chance to change that. After that, you're kind of locked in unless you have a special needs that happened throughout the year, like maybe you moved to a new state or whatever. There's also different enrollment periods there as well.
I hear you. So I want to talk about the first thing you said, the time frame that you have to enroll. So I will say from personal experience that I'm getting the stuff from AARP in the mail now, and I'm throwing it in the garbage because it's scaring me. What you're saying is that when you start to get the Medicare things, don't throw it away. That's your notification that your enrollment period is about to start. The government sends you this, or do you have to proactively go looking for it?
Yeah, the government doesn't send you a lot. The individual carriers are out there, or the people that, the plans that represent carriers, they're actually the ones that are out advertising. And you'll start to see a lot of ads on television, with famous athletes, famous actors, and just know that that's not your agent. That's the biggest key. You're actually calling a call center somewhere. It could be in the United States, it could be out of the United States. But once you start seeing those ads, you'll know, hey, we're coming up on the annual enrollment period, because that's the time that everybody can change.
I hear you. So those 6 months, if you miss them, can cost you money in the future. But let's talk about the second way that you help people who are approaching the retirement age. A lot of what you do is acquire companies, insurance agencies that are family businesses. These are usually outfits who are providing insurance for their friends, their families, their neighbors, their religious affiliations. They care about their customers, their clients, and the idea of leaving their office to pass them along to an 800 number or call center doesn't feel confident. So how do you help those kinds of businesses?
Yeah, just like every other part of our population, we're increasing in age, and especially in the insurance phase, because it's not one of the sexy industries that people go into, like technology or whatever. There's a big gap between the number of agents that are out there and the number of agents retiring. And so what we've been able to do is provide an economic solution for agencies in small communities or large communities throughout the United States that say, hey, I'm 65, I'm 75, I'm 80. I don't want to abandon my customers, but I need to retire myself and go enjoy life as I know it. And so we provide a solution for them whereby we allow them to continue their legacy in their community. We provide all the customer service so they're not abandoning their friends, family, co-workers, neighbors, people they go to religious.
Sure, you have to face these people afterwards, and once you've built this trust, this connection, this transparency. Now, I will remind you, we spoke a little bit earlier about how my dad would once a year welcome his insurance agent into our home, and it was like a family member. We shared stories, he attended our weddings as we grew up, and he himself retired. That has sort of transitioned over time, and now we see caricatures or characters, a duck that quacks, or an apron, whereas the agent, the person, the connection, the contact with someone who's listening to me has sort of fallen to the wayside. At ACBS, what is your motto, and how do you stand behind that?
Yeah, so we try to meet the customer wherever they are. We have some customers that are very technology savvy, and they say, you know what, I really don't want anybody to come visit my home. Let's do it via Zoom or a webinar of some variety.
I love that.
But we also have individual agents that will come out, that are all licensed, that will come out and meet with you in your home if that's where you choose. So you have the ability to do everything electronic, however guided with advice, either online or face-to-face, whichever you prefer as the customer, which is most important to us.
That is such a privilege. I think a lot of what reassures a customer and a client is knowing that their questions can be answered anytime that they have them. And so once you build that connection with ACBS, is that what that means? You're not calling a center, you're talking to your agent in your community who's familiar with the changing trends, laws, and guidelines where you live in real time.
That's exactly right. And in addition to the licensed agent that comes out and helps you on an annual basis or over the phone that helps you enroll, you also are assigned a dedicated customer service representative. So when you have a question about a claim or a physician, or you have a problem when dealing with your insurance carrier, you can call and say, hey, would you mind intervening on my behalf? And because of our relationships with over 50 different companies nationally, we have very strong relationships where we've got ways to get in contact that maybe you don't have to sit on the phone for 3 hours waiting for an answer. We can get that information for you fairly quickly.
That is exceptional. I think what you just said about having a relationship with 50 national brands highlights the experience that you've invested into ensuring that you can pool your customers' needs to get the best prices and the best services that they might require. Does that sound right?
That's exactly right.
So let me ask you, where would we find you? Are you located nationally?
We've got offices all over the United States. So depending on where you're located, chances are we're either going to have an office there or an affiliation. So we're able to meet customers' needs wherever they are.
I have to thank you, Larry, for reassuring me that the future plans of so many people in this scary space and transition is going to be helped along by your research and your wealth of knowledge. Thanks for coming and sharing your time with us.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you again soon.
It is such a privilege. To find out more about Larry Adkins, ACBS Insurance, you can find us on dailynewsnetwork.com. I'm your host, Suzi Becker. Stay inspired and inspiring.